Okay, shalom, shalom. Before I begin with this lesson, I want to start by giving all praises to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKudash. Double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Shalom to the Lord's elect, and you Akim, pushing this word throughout the four corners of the earth with all truth and sincerity, making your calling and election sure. And this is going to be a dream that I had, earlier this morning. And I want to go into my first precept before I get into that. Joel 2:28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. Right? This is also reiterated in Acts, the 2nd chapter, in the 15th verse. And, I do want to get into it, man, because this dream, slash vision was, really, a faith booster. When I woke up, it was like, wow. I was like, wow. And I actually have it written out here in my notes. Right here, yep. Okay, cool. So I was at my, girlfriend's house in the dream, and she was having a party. And, she had family and friends over, and they were all around. They were older, 50 to 30 years old. And I remember just drinking a red cup, talking to like some three guys that were there, some three homies. I was just, sipping with them while I was at that party. And next thing you know, for some reason, someone calls out my name in the party and was like, "Hey, you an Israelite?" And they, everyone just kind of stared at me. Even the dudes I was sipping with, they kind of like looked at me like, "What, you an Israelite?" Like, like that, kind of weird. And, when everybody just stopped and kind of looked at me, I just started running. I was like, damn, I got to get out of here. So I ran away from them, man. Tried to, dodge and duck. And, yeah. But the thing is that they caught me. There was way too many of them. They caught me. I was all trying to fight them back and shit. They tied my legs with the rope and hung me upside down from a tree. And, at that point, I was tripping, man. Because in the dream, I knew I was like, you're going to try to kill me. My body was trembling. I was scared. I had my eyes shut. I didn't want to see. And I just kept on hearing them yelling, burn them, man, burn them. Let's put them in fire. And, hey, man, my body was trembling. And I remember it was first person point of view. I had my eyes shut. And in the dream, in my mind, I was saying, how Bashim Yahshab, Babakusha, 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 make me endure this. Make me endure this. And I was like saying, don't let the fire, don't touch me. And, my body was trembling, fearing, not knowing if, I was going to die or not, man. Right? And this is also why it's important for us, Akim, man, to not be on, social media trying to, become over righteous, putting fringes all over your crib, your car, your dog, so on and so forth. We got to be kind of hidden with this thing, man, because this is serious. This is why the apostles and the elders, have set platforms for us to push this truth, and that's that. But back to the dream, hey, next thing you know, hey, I was upside down on my feet, or upside down hanging from a tree. And, they were getting ready, they were throwing wood under me and shit. And they lit the fire up. And, after I prayed and all that, to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, I literally said that in my dream, the fire lit up. And I just felt like the heat around my head, but it wasn't actually touching me. Like my face felt protected. I was like, what? I was like, like, call like, oh, Bashim, I was shy, man. Like, it was like, man. I started grinning, and they started getting mad. They're like, what the fuck? Why isn't he burning? Why isn't he burning? They took me off of the tree. And when they took me off, I kind of pushed away from them, pushed them back. And I literally flew up and, started, doing my thing. Flew away, literally flew up. And I was flying around them, mocking them. I was like, yeah, come get me now, come get me now. Going fast past them. I was punching them, and doing, all sorts of, I was in a happy mood at that time, man. While I was beating these dudes up, And it was, really, usually when that fire, came up, usually like you're supposed to wake up from a dream, like it's like the near death experience dreams when you fall off a building and when you're about to land, you wake up. This is how this was, man. I was like, man, Yahweh, Shabbat, make me endure this and make the fire, not feel it. And I was literally saying, I forgot exactly what prayer I said, but it was something to that effect. And when they lit the fire, man, I didn't feel nothing. And I was still in the dream. I was still sleeping. And then they even went to the point where they took me off the tree and I pushed them away and started flying and, doing my thing. And this is scriptural, man. Us Akim, I don't want to of course, if this be my lot. But even then, this is a heavy lot, man. Getting to the point where, you're literally about to die, man. It's my body was trembling. I was tripping. I was like, man. And really through all of that, it's called Layal Bashim Al Shai because he had the spirit to where I didn't fold, man. I was like, nah, fuck that, nah. And that's how us brothers, the spirit is just going to be honest, man. We're not going to know how or, we're not going to know exactly how we endured it, but we're just going to endure it, man. It was heavy. And really, that was really the scariest part of the dream for real. At that point when I was, getting ready to literally die, man. And this is, actually have a precept. You can literally tie this into, the guillotine that brothers are going to get ready to go into. This lot is for some of us, Akim, man. This is Revelations 2:10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Right? These FEMA camps. You had Chanel come and, create that guillotine. You had them order like over, 1 million. I don't know the exact number, but it's up there. Plastic coffins, biodegradable coffins. This is a lot, man. This is some of us Akim's lot, man, to be martyrs. But the Lord's going to protect y'all, right? Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prisons, that ye may be tried. This is a trial. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days, a certain amount of days, right? Because 10 just means completion. You can be there for 3 days, 5 days, 20 days, And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. Bang. What's that second death? The ICBM missiles. That's way worse than the little fire that was under my head. But, the point being is us, we're going to be put in positions where our body and, where this flesh is literally going to barely even be able to handle that shit, man. And this is why it's also important to use wisdom. Jake that's out here, not following certain decrees and orders that the elders have set up for us, younger Akim, man, to follow under. There's a reason why these orders and decrees are set up, man. Do all things decently and in order. And in order for things to be done in order, there has to be an order set up. Right? Like man above you. Because the order gets passed down under, all the way down to, you. Right? So, you may not understand exactly why can't we push the truth on, this platform and this platform. You may not necessarily know why, but at the end, there's a bigger picture, man. I want to get this precept. Luke 22:28. Yea are they which have continued with me in my temptations. The Lord was going through this. The only thing is that he knew, man. He knew when his time was to come. But what? 29, and I appoint unto you a kingdom as my Father had appointed unto me. We're fighting for this kingdom, right? And to be rulerships. to be a rulership in this kingdom of the Lord. 30, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? There's going to be certain predicaments that us Akim, if we want to get this kingdom, want to sip, that good yun with Yahweh Shai, want to be in a leadership position in the time to come, the kingdom to come. There's going to be certain predicaments set out for us that we must go through. Right? This is Matthew 16 and 24. And I'm going to get it in the English Standard Version. Then Yahweh Shai told his disciples, quote, if anyone would come after me, right, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever shall save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. We're going to be put in certain predicaments that we must go through and endure to enter into the kingdom of heaven and have that leadership rule. Right? And we're following up after what? Yahweh Shai and his salvation. And, this dream, it reminded me exactly of, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when Nebuchadnezzar, threw them in a furnace and the fire didn't even touch them, and they came out of the furnace. And we're going to get that account right here in Daniel, the 3rd chapter. So this is Daniel 3, and I'm going to start at verse 24. I'm going to start at verse 22. Salaki, I'm going to go up. All right, this is Daniel 3 and 19. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. He reheated the furnace because when he put them under the furnace, it didn't even kill them. I'll probably just get this whole account, man. This is 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was to be heated. Turn this thing up. Turn this thing all the way up. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. 21. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So damn hot that those that were putting them into the furnace got killed by the fire that was coming out. Right? 23. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the fiery furnace, the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire, man? Did we not throw these 3 dudes into the burning fire? They answered and said unto the king, Yeah, true, O king, we did. Then answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire. And that 4th man, Yahweh Shai, He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire. The fuck? Are they walking in it? And they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th, right, because it was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, is like the Son of the Most High. Verse 26, Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, yea, servants of the Most High Power, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire, and the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies that the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their head singed, not even a little piece of their hair was caught up in a little burn, a little flame, right? Neither were their coats hanged, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Y'all don't even smell like smoke, bro. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the Most High of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own power, man. This is how we got to be, man. Being like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in a sense of all your temptations, man, to come, because it's going to get, try. It's going to get, we're in level what? Probably, let's say, right now we're in level 3. The Lord's going to turn this thing up when Jacob's trouble hits to, man, level 5, level 6, right? We're just going to jump the gun. But the Lord is going to be with his elect, man. And, we already been through this, man. The scripture says the spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets. So we already been through these things, man, if we be those men. And it's nothing for the Lord to redeem us and put the spirit on us to be able to endure all these things and to be able to, jump in that fiery furnace and that trust in the Lord, right? And really that fiery furnace, you can tie that into what? Jacob's trouble. This is Sirach, yep. Sirach 2 and 5. This is Sirach 2 and 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. What do we got coming? The hour of temptation. We got the temptation of not being able to eat. We got the temptation of not being able to get water. The temptation of, committing, all manner of evil in order to provide for our means in the times to come. Right? So that's the temptation. Famine. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble. We're coming into some trying times, Jacob's trouble. 3, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Verse 4, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. Damn, man, what the fuck are we going to do? How are we going to do this? They're out to get us right now, right? 5, for gold is tried in the fire and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. But what's going to happen? That fire is not going to touch us, man. The scripture's going to, us, the Lord not trying us above our measure, and him, the Lord making a way to escape. That's why you got to apply. You read these precepts, you read these accounts, you read these scriptures, and, it's going to come to a time where we're all going to be tested. Do we truly believe in this thing? Do we truly believe what we're reading? And this is all going to come with what application? Right now, we're just applying our faith. We go out to the highways and the byways, show our faith, right? We make our lessons, our digital epistles. You read, you repent, you don't eat pork because you don't do certain things because you can get judged for it. Right, you get on brothers because certain brothers are walking disorderly, and that can cause them salvation because you care about them. Right, so on and so forth, man. This is a ministry of belief, man, of faith. Right, I'm not necessarily under Great Millstone, but I follow the Great Millstone doctrine and their spirit, man. And what do they have? They had them IYC, if I'm not mistaken, or ISUPK, one of these camps, one of these ABC camps. They got on GMS and called them what? Faith-based Israelites. Is this thing not all about faith? Do you see Yahushua? Do you see him right here walking? Nah, man, this thing is about being a faith-based Israelite. But hey, this dream was, heavy into me. I feel like I had to make a lesson on it, to exhort the Akim. Hey, the scriptures talk about dreams lifting up fools as well. This is just a dream that the Lord allowed me to receive. to let you, to bring it out to you, man, and, exhort you. I don't want to this lesson was edifying, exhorting, and, and it reaches the ears of the Lord's elect. But with that, I want to close out. By giving all praises to our power, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKudash. Want to give a double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well, teach well. Shalom to the Lord's elect, and you, I can pushing this word out the four corners of the earth with all truth and sincerity, making your calling and election sure. Shalom.